Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tommy with Conceptz. So one of the best benefits of Conceptz parts is we can ship anything we manufacture to you raw. And by raw, I mean no coating, no paint, no powder coat, nothing. We ship it to you in raw form via steel or aluminum, and you get to choose how you want it painted. You can either rattle can spray paint it, take it to a body shop, have them paint it, or you can do bed liner or powder coat, which is the more popular of all routes. That said, we do offer powder coating in gloss black or textured black. If you don't have a local powder coater, if you don't feel like hassling with it, and you just one-stop shop it, if you order direct from us, we'll go ahead and have it powder coated and shipped out to you in gloss black or textured black to your choosing. But I'm going to stand around and wait for this paint to dry, as the saying goes, and when it's done, I'm going to lay this on my workbench, and I'm going to go over how to get the Evap canister installed to the skid, and I'm going to talk about the benefits of our skid and why I think it's a great option for your Jeep. All right, thanks for your time, guys, and stand by. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so my paint finished drying. I'm ready to go ahead and install this. But first I wanted to talk about the actual removal process to get the Evap canister off of the Jeep. So it's located on the driver's side of the Jeep underneath of the, I guess pretty much underneath of the rear passenger seat. You stick your head under there, you'll see it. But it's this big black box. So there's a rubber hose that goes over this white filter. You're just going to pull that rubber hose off. There's a little pigtail, an electrical a wiring harness that plugs in here. You're just going to squeeze it and pull it off. And then there's a elbow that goes over this nipple. It's designed so you should be able to squeeze the ends of it, and when you squeeze it, it pushes the hooks away and it allows it to come off. If you can't, just grab like a little pick or something and pop each tab back just a little bit and work it off, and it eventually comes off. And then once you get everything on, all the hoses and the plumbing undone, you're going to remove the actual mounting bracket and the canister from the Jeep. So mine's an older Jeep, and which is an '07, and this is all that came with the Jeep. There was no skid, no wraparound, so the Evap canister was just kind of hanging under the bottom of the Jeep. So to remove it and the canister from the bottom of the Jeep, there are three 16 millimeter OEM bolts that you're going to remove. So 16 millimeter bolt head size. You can also use a 5/8. It's the same thing. You're going to remove the front two and then the rear one. And then you'll drop this and the Evap canister off the bottom of the Jeep. And then you'll bring it around to your workbench, and you're going to pry this tab up. There's a little tab here. It's a locking tab that pushes down that keeps it from sliding off. So you just take a screwdriver and pry this little tab up, get it out of the way. And then these keyways on this mounting bracket, these keys or tabs slide into those keyways or those tab holes. So once you get this tab pried up out of the way, it'll simply slide off. You may have to bump it a little bit or work it a little bit, but it's just it's designed to just slide off the Evap canister itself. So that part is super easy. There's really not a lot to get it off of the Jeep. And once you get it off, bring it over, slide the bracket apart. You can throw this away. You're not going to need this anymore, but keep the bolts that held it to the cross members under the Jeep. You are going to need to reuse those. Again, keep those bolts that held this on. So this bolt, and this bolt that held this to the cross members under the bottom of the Jeep, save them. You're going to reuse them. So the first part of setting up our Evap canister skid is installing the rear mounting bracket. And it's really simple. All you're going to do is take it. There's 3 holes here and then 3 holes along the bottom of the skid. And you're just going to line those up. And we sand a hardware bag that has some 3/8 diameter 9/16 bolt head size bolts, some washers, and some nuts that are going to go on there. So just, get them started. Leave them nice and loose, do one at a time. Leave them loose until you get them all installed, and then tighten them all up at one time. So some of the newer JKs have a skid system for the Evap canister, and it's complete garbage. I've seen tons of pictures and videos, and I've actually seen one of them crushed. Super thin sheet metal. It's not designed to, drag across a rock. I don't even know why they put it under there. Like mine's an older one and there was nothing. I think the not having anything was just as good as that one that they put under there from the factory. So, once you get that done, you're going to go ahead and tighten those up once you get them all in nice and squared away. So I just use a little electric impact. All right, done deal. So that bracket's installed. Now note this window that it was created when you mounted that bracket, this little square window here. So you're going to take your evap canister, you're going to lay it in our skid, just like that, bam. And the white nipple that is on the back of the filter box, this white nipple is going to go into that hole. And when you lay it in there, you want to make sure it's in there evenly. It's not too far left or too far right. You want to make sure there's a gap. Because when you mount this underneath of the Jeep, you're going to have to re-plumb all of the emissions plumbing. And you want to make sure that you can get that hose over top of that piece. So make sure it's in there nice and square. Okay. So another really cool feature of our skid versus some of the other ones out there is we use one band clamp that actually retains or mounts the actual evap canister to the skid. And it's got a hook on one side. See the little hook? See the little rectangular window on this side? You're just going to take your strap clamp and you're going to put that hook inside of that window like that. And once you get that done, you're going to come over here to this side and you'll see that there's a tab on the skid and a hole in this side of the clamp. We sand a 5/16 diameter, 1/2 inch bolt head size bolt and washers and lock nut. And you're just going to take that and you're going to put the two pieces together. Get it started. If I can get it started. If I can get it pushed together a little tighter. There we go. And that's it. And once you get it started, leave it loose. Don't tighten it up just yet because you want to come back and recheck. So I've actually moved this a little bit. So I want to make sure that that white nipple is not it's not too far left or too far right in that hole. Again, that's an important part because you'll have a pain trying to get this thing squared away under the Jeep. So make sure that's nice and squared away. And then once you do that, once you get it where you want it, you are going to take a 1/2 inch wrench, a 1/2 inch socket, and you're going to tighten that strap up. Now, when you tighten this strap up, don't over tighten it. There's a nylock nut on there, so you don't have to worry about pulling it all the way tight, because if you do, you can actually squeeze too hard on the evap canister and you can damage it. So you're just going to tighten it up snug until you cannot move the evap canister. Again, just don't over tighten that piece. That's really important. And I think I've got it pretty good. And then one more time, check that window out. Make sure that that's in there pretty even so you can get your hose on there. It's moved a little bit, so I'm going to loosen it back up. Loosen it up, make sure I get it in there nice and square. Tighten it up. Okay, now that looks good. So you can see that it's pretty even gap on each side of that, so I can get that rubber hose back over top of it. So guys, this is 100% American made, 3/16 American steel, hand welded, CNC cut, hand welded, hand finished skid plate. It is beef. I mean, super beef. One thing that kind of separates, and I've installed a couple of different types of evap canister skids. One thing that I have found with our skid is that the approach angles and departure angles are really nice, but you're able to actually get the bolts in here and get an extension and a socket on there. You're not trying to just, we made it, it was designed with enough clearance to get your tools in here to get on the bolts, which makes it really nice. And it just helps with the installation altogether. But that's pretty much it. That's the assembly process. The next thing I'm going to do is climb under the Jeep. I'm going to bolt this up and I'm going to plumb all the emissions line, plug my pigtail back in, and that's a done deal. So super easy process, guys. I hope this video helped you out. But Again, this is one of these installation processes where I think 95% of people are going to open the box up. Oh, this is how this goes. Done deal. They've got it on the Jeep. But, you know, just to make it easy for everybody, I wanted to do a short, quick video on it. So, last part of the video, I'm going to get under the Jeep. I'm going to bolt this bad boy up. I'm going to plumb it all up, and I'm going to go over that and then send you guys on your way. Thanks a lot. Hang on for a second. Okay, guys. Well, the last little bit of this installation process, I'm going to go ahead and bolt the Evap Cannister Skid back up, replumb my lines and my harness, get it in there nice and squared away and pretty, and be about it. I mean, it's one of them deals you can do by yourself. Two men can kind of help you, makes it a little easier, but you can see how easy that is. I've got one bolt started. I'm going to move up here to the front where the other two are. Reusing the OEM bolts that held the OEM skid or mounting bracket onto the bottom of the Jeep. They are again a 16mm bolt head size, which a 5/8 works nicely for that too. Alright, so I've got that done. Go ahead and pull out the old Milwaukee. I'll zip these up. Get this one. And now it's mounted. So here's that, I don't know if you guys can see, here's that elbow. It's designed or just squeeze the ends and it pushes the tabs out of the way. Sometimes it's a pain. It's easier if you just get a screwdriver on it. Get it off of there. But you just push it down until it kind of pops over those tabs. Get it in there nice and tight. Your wiring harness, your pigtail, it's going to go in there, so feel where your get a little tricky. Get your arm up in there like that. Make sure you get your orientation on this thing right. And then once you get it in the hole, it'll go right where it needs to be. There it went. And then finally that rubber hose is going to go over that white nipple on the back of the vent tube, on the back of the vent on the back of the evap canister. But that's it, guys. So you want to check all your emissions lines while you're under here. It's always a good thing. You want to check your stuff. Make sure nothing's been rubbing, that you don't have any leaks or anything, because this is part of your fuel system. But other than that, it's, as you can tell, it just took me a few minutes by myself. And now I've got 3/16 American beef holding this skid up. Some other cool things, it's got these really nice big windows on each side that, allow you to, stick a water hose under there, rinse out dirt, or, just kind of lets debris come out. But that's it, guys. That's your Crawler Concepts Evap Cannister Skid System for a 4-door JK. I hope the video helped you guys out. If you have any questions or if you need to find us, you can find us at crawlerconcepts.com. Look us up on Facebook, or you can hit me up direct at Tommy@crawlerconcepts.com. I'd be happy to help you guys. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you guys out there.